Hello there, I'm the MCU guy, and welcome to the MCU podcast. We are now up to episode 20. It is the 21st of May, 2021. I'm joined today by my guest, Marie Boyle. Hello, Marie Boyle.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Friday, tired. So, yeah. How are you?
I'm very, very well. Thank you very much. So Marie is, I came across Marie on TikTok, and I found her content very interesting, and we started a conversation, and I asked her if she'd like to appear on an open podcast, but she's here for this episode, and I'm very, very happy that she's here joining me today. We're going to be talking about some of the big MCU news that we've had over the past month or so, because we've not really touched any of it since we've been concentrating pretty much on Falcon and Winter Soldier for the last 2 months on the podcast. And then we're going to look into another Disney Plus show. We're going to do a little Loki preview, which I'm excited about everything about the show. So I think it'd be really good to kind of get into quite a good conversation about what we can expect from this show. So I think because you're new to the podcast, Marie, what we normally do is we normally like to find out a bit more about our new guests. So more about predominantly the MCU thing. I mean, we're happy to hear about who you are as a person. Obviously, we want to make you know what makes you tick, what makes you who you are. But we'll probably do that. We'll probably do that through the podcast. But my questions for you now are: what is your earliest MCU memory, and what is your favorite MCU film? And I want to know your reasons. Tell me all about it.
Right. Okay. Here, I've got a confession here. So I was never into the whole superhero thing. I think DC kind of ruined it for me a little bit. I was just never interested, from being a child. And I'd only really seen memes and cosplays, and I was always interested in that side of things. But when it came to the movies and stuff, I'd never been to cinema or seen any. Then, I'd seen Guardians. I loved Guardians. That was the first MCU film that I saw. And then I saw Captain America First Avenger. I love that kind of time period, so I loved that film. But then it wasn't really until, and I'm embarrassing myself here as a Marvel fan, but it wasn't until Infinity War that I really got into the whole thing. So yeah, but since then it's an obsession. And once I'm finished watching the films, restart straight away. It's just an ongoing process. Yeah, I'm a new fan, but I wouldn't say that the quality of my knowledge is lacking because of that.
No.
So yeah.
Is that because of your many rewatches?
Yeah. Oh, I've probably seen them more than the people who've been fans from the beginning. Honestly, just yeah. But now I'm just obsessed now. It's so easy to get obsessed with it, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And you're not actually that far away from what my introduction to MCU. I think people who listen to this podcast multiple times will know that my first introduction was the first Avengers film, and I've always loved Spider-Man since a young age, but because Spider-Man wasn't in the MCU. So I was oh, well, yeah, this looks really cool. And I went to the cinema to watch that, and I was that's actually really good. And I worked my way backwards throughout phase one, in the complete opposite order, and finished with Iron Man, because I didn't really like Iron Man at first, because I thought it was a bit of a jackass. But obviously he's supposed to be a jackass, but because I'd not watched Iron Man 1, I didn't realise that he's grown as a person a bit more since Iron Man 1. So when I got to Avengers 1, I was like, why is this guy such a dick? But now it's all right. I've been through the whole character arc, and now Tony's the man. But at first I was like, can't fucking stand the guy. What a dick. But yeah, so realistically, you're not actually that far away from where I first started anyway. But I don't necessarily think that really matters these days, because like I said, if you can really appreciate something and you delve into it and dive headfirst into it, it's really easy to pick up so much knowledge and so much passion for stuff like this. Yeah. So realistically, I don't think it really matters too much to me or to proper fans of film and TV to really judge people about when they started picking something up, because it doesn't really matter. Everyone loves things for different reasons. So that's the only thing
the only thing I feel like I've missed out on is the cinema experience of. You're talking 18 of the films that I've missed at the cinema. So yeah, that's the only thing that I've missed out on, really.
Yeah, but you've still got so much more to come now. And like,
Yeah.
did you watch Infinity War in cinema, or did you watch that when it was released on DVD?
No, I watched Infinity War at the cinema.
Oh right,
So
okay.
that was,
but that's incredible though. Like, that's
Yeah.
the first introduction to like an MCU film. Like,
But I didn't know what was going on.
But it's still, that's the thing about Infinity War. It's the best film because you don't really need to know what's going on, because it has a very clear narrative throughout it, and it explains everything to the non-MCU fans for them to be able to understand it as an actual film on its own, and that's why it's the best MCU film.
Oh.
And like, heads above all the other films, man. It's an incredible film. It's my favorite film.
Well, that was sad.
but yeah, well, that's my favorite one. But it's not about my favorite episode, but my favorite show. I mean, my favorite film. It's your favorite film. What is your favorite MCU film?
Okay, so my favorite film is actually Civil War. I just think in terms of the story, it being so like concise and succinct and stuff like that, I just feel like it's got a really good villain who isn't even a villain. He just kind of turns them on themselves. I love the scenes. I just love how it divided people. There's something about Civil War. The only thing I have negative to say about it is that I think it's a little bit serious. Like, there's not as much of what I call Marvel banter. And I don't think it's as funny as the other films. But yeah, Civil War is definitely my favourite, but very close second has got to be Thor Ragnarok. Like, if you ask me on any given day, like if I'm having a sad day and I want to be like cheer up a little bit, it's definitely going to be Ragnarok. But yeah, usually it's Civil War.
Nice. Two very, very solid films. I agree with Thor Ragnarok. I was blown away at how good that film was. Like, especially with the fact that the two, obviously not bad films, but they just didn't really do Thor justice at all. And then Taika comes in and just kicks the whole thing and just shakes it up, and it's well good. And now, I don't think it's hard to imagine Thor being the way that Thor was before Thor Ragnarok.
No. Like, we had the little snippets. We had the little snippets of humor, didn't we? Like for example, when he smashes the cup in the first one and he says like another, it's got that kind of like that dumb humor to him. And I don't know, but like, Thor like Ragnarok is it's just brilliant. I love every minute of it. It's honestly my comfort film. Like, if I'm feeling a little bit sad, I have to watch it.
Oh, well, what a fantastic film to watch when you're sad. I might have to try that one. Yeah. So basically, now that we've established your MCU credentials, tell us more about where you're from and what you do.
Well, if you haven't guessed already, I'm from like the northeast of England. I have a boring 9-to-5 job, but we'll not talk about that.
No one needs to know about boring jobs.
No one cares about that. I don't care about that. So, So I have like a lot of social media channels because I've got like so many different interests. So I do have like obviously my TikTok for Marvel stuff, and I've got my TikTok for I have a small business on Etsy. And then I have like Instagram pages for all these things as well. So I've got a personal one. I love traveling. I've got a travel one. I've got my business one. I've got a Marvel one. So I've also got a YouTube channel, which is fairly new. Well, it's not new, it's old, but I've just started posting content. So that's what I'm kind of interested in. I enjoy photography and stuff like that, and doing photos on my Instagram, and I enjoy doing the videos, and I enjoy collecting stuff, as you can see. So yeah, that's kind of who I am. I like collecting stuff and being creative and stuff. So yeah, don't talk about the job though. Don't talk about it.
No one needs to. No one. No, like, as far as I'm concerned, full-time jobs don't exist when you're doing stuff like this and you're enjoying making content. For all the people who are listening to this podcast, by the way, and not watching this one, Marie has one of the most amazing shelves I've ever seen of any bit of nerd like memorabilia things. It's incredible. Like, you've got so many different things for Dove, so many different franchises. It's amazing, and I'm assuming it's taken quite a while for you to build said shelving unit.
It hasn't actually. That's the problem. Like, I had a few things to fill, maybe like just the Harry Potter shelves, but when I got the shelf put up, spending spree, and I just was like, fill it up. It's a work in progress, but it's getting there. So yeah. Well,
it is very impressive. It's very, very impressive. So for people obviously who are interested in giving me a follow, we'll go through the socials and all that kind of stuff at the end for you to get acquainted with her. But you need to check out some of the stuff she posts, because it makes, if you're a nerd, if you're a full-blown nerd, you'll get such nerd envy with the stuff that she posts and with the things that she gets. So I do most of the time. She posts stuff and I'm just like, I want all of that because it looks well good. So now let's get into the core bit of the podcast, because we're here to talk about some big MCU news. We've got like 4 topics we're going to go through. Like 4 of the biggest, I'd say, ones we've had over the past month and a half. I mean, we've had like little snippets of information, and not basically most of these things that we touch on these areas because we know that these things are true. We know that these things have been like confirmed, not just rumor stuff. I mean, it's nice to talk about rumor stuff, but I think these are the ones that we know are happening. So I think that's the best way we're gonna go about it, by actually sticking to stuff that we know is going to happen. So we'll start off with. I'm actually really excited for this news because I think it shows that Disney and Marvel are like really. We know they're going to make a big deal out of the Disney Plus content. But, like they're making a big push for Falcon Winter Soldier and WandaVision to both get, Emmy nominations. For WandaVision was for limited series, and Falcon Winter Soldier was for best drama. So, my question to you, Marie: do these shows deserve these like nominations if they get it? I mean, there's been a lot of really good shows this year, especially Disney themselves have just released loads of really good shows. Like you're coming up against like The Mandalorian, which again, just like we know that show is incredible. So we'll start WandaVision first. Actually, how do you think that WandaVision fares as a best limited series?
I think that it's easy to turn around and say that because it's a Marvel produced entertainment rather than like hard-hitting shows, it's easy to kind of brush them to one side and be like, oh, they don't deserve an Emmy because they deserve like the MTV Awards more, because it's kind of more fitting for that style. But I genuinely do think with WandaVision, and Falcon Winter Soldier, but we'll focus on WandaVision right now, it just deserves it. I just think it really deserves a nomination at least. Obviously, I don't know what else is in the category to possibly win, but I don't know, just the production value, the cast, the acting, just everything about it. In the story, the plot, the issues that were touched on, the grief and the depression and stuff like that. I don't see how it wouldn't be worthy, to be honest. I know obviously there's other stuff that I've never really seen anything like Marvel win like Emmys before.
They won an Oscar, didn't they? They've won Oscar. Yeah. They won an Oscar for best costume design. And they do quite well with stuff like best visuals and all that kind of stuff. But they're all the ones that you kind of expect them to be in the running for, and it generally normally comes down to like Marvel or Star Wars. It's always like a Disney who wins it normally with that kind of stuff. But stuff like these stuff. I mean, because obviously streaming shows have become so big in like this current age that it's. You've got so many shows that are taking up so much content and so much space on all these platforms, and that's not even forgetting like actual TV shows that are being cast on networks, which there've been quite a lot of huge shows in the last few years, and they're going to be coming up against it. But I think with these Disney shows, because they've put so much money and so much effort into trying to like not blow people out of the water, but they're competing with the big streaming companies like Netflix and even like HBO, and it really shows how much they really want to like change the landscape by putting so much money and so much effort and time into these shows. And WandaVision was the perfect example of that, because like when have we ever seen anything like WandaVision where the first like 4 episodes are just like purely based just around sitcoms, and like the set design changed for every single episode, and like they made the shows like visual effects like the way they used to make it back in like the 1960s and stuff. And it's just mind blowing to think that they actually did that. And like having a show in front of a live studio audience is not a huge thing for like a lot of like network comedies. Like your likes of like Friends and all them lot, like because that's just like the staple of what a sitcom is for like these networks. But to like have that as like a key part of a streaming service show like WandaVision, like a Marvel show, it just shows that they had such big plans and such like focus into making these shows as best as they possibly can be. And the moment you saw like these trailers drop, you're thinking, gee, this is going to be absolutely mad.
Yeah.
And we knew it was going to be a bit mad because the hype that they were talking about, in the way that Kevin Feige like explained what it was going to be about, and you're thinking, how are they going to do this? But you watch the first episode and you're just like, what the hell? And I smiled from ear to ear the whole time.
Yeah,
that first episode, because I was just like, this is fantastic. And we spoke about it when we did our like WandaVision breakdown. Me and Caitlin talked about it, but we were just dumbfounded by the fact that people couldn't like grasp the concept of WandaVision, and they were like, oh, it's boring because it's not Marvel enough, because there's not much action and stuff. And you're like, well, you're not really taking in like the whole point of this show. And I mean, a lot of people's mind changed towards the end of the season, which obviously you would do because the Marvel stuff starts to kick in. But the balance between an amazing storyline and a just action-packed Marvel, just shut your mind off bit of entertainment, is like, it's just insane. And for me, that I think that WandaVision's got more of a chance of getting a nomination and possibly winning, I think, over Falcon Winter Soldier, just because of the sheer brilliance of it and like how different it is. And there's not a lot of shows like that on TV, let alone on streaming services. And a Marvel related show, it's just no one in the right mind would think a superhero film or TV show would ever be anything like that. But Marvel are pushing the envelope with it, and what a fantastic job it is. So, I hope it gets nominated. I really, really do.
I think Elizabeth Olsen hit it on the head when I read an interview with her before, and she said something along the lines of her contract ended, so did Paul Bettany's. So she said basically they're not just making content because they're still contracted and they need to fill up the contract. She said obviously they have ideas for them, and that's how am I trying to say this? So they have ideas for these characters, and they are bringing them on board to do it. They're not just using them for no reason. They want them to be in these like quality shows. They're not just making content for the sake of it. Like, I think it definitely shows in the episodes themselves. Like the thought, like the details of WandaVision. Like I did when I went to university, I did like English language and literature, and I was saying to all my friends, I could so easily write my dissertation about WandaVision and and all the details and all of the like the background stuff. Just it was just amazing. It was just all the little nuances were just fantastic.
Yeah, it was such an incredible show, and fingers crossed it does get the nomination.
Yeah.
But so my feelings on Falcon Winter Soldier with Best Drama is I feel like it probably won't get the nomination. But not that it's a bad show, because it was a fantastic show, but I just feel like that might not have been the best category to go for, really. But I mean, that's just my opinion. What's your thoughts on the nomination for the category and for just the show in general? Are you down with Falcon Winter Soldier?
I think I briefly looked at the other kind of contenders for the category. I think Bridgerton was one, and I think The Crown was one, and I just don't like, for me, them are the type of things that usually win.
Yeah.
Whereas like you stick Falcon Winter Soldier and then it sticks out like a sore thumb, it doesn't quite fit. But I do think it seems like a shallow entry, like he's a superhero film, or a TV show, sorry. Like he's a superhero TV show. I don't know, but then I do think if people took a step back and thought about it, they did really hit on some really hard hitting issues in it. So obviously they talk about like PTSD, stress, like racism was obviously a huge subject in there. So I don't know. I do think that if them things were taken into consideration over the fact that it's like just a superhero thing, then it might be a contender. But it's just not the type of thing that usually wins.
No, but that's the frustrating thing as well. Like you said, like you probably won't even really get they won't even get the consideration because like people just dismiss it. But I think it's hard to dismiss it because obviously the impact that it had at the time when it was coming out, and like there was so much going on, and we've talked about it to death during the live streams that we did after each episode, where me and the Michael Coffin, the Avenged Nerd, went into detail about a lot of stuff, and then on the last podcast we like proper broke it down, and it's hard to ignore the stuff that was happening in the show. Even like it's obviously slightly different for us over here in the UK, because obviously we obviously weren't in like the thick of it with what happened last year in the US with the riots and the protests. And it was obviously a very difficult time for a lot of people over there, and a lot of time obviously for us as well over here, but obviously nothing like in the US. And Michael did a really good job at like explaining what that was like, and it's so the fact that that's kind of it's openly being discussed on quite a lot of formats and a lot of platforms. It goes to show that like they can't really hide or shy away from this kind of stuff anymore, and it's being brought to the forefront. And I don't know, it'd be a good thing for it to get nominated and to win, because it goes to show that even something or a company like Marvel can still make a difference in a landscape that's so full of content, but they're making content that's actually being thought provoking and trying to make a difference. I mean, you got to think like Black Panther was actually such a massive cultural event, and it made such a big impact because obviously the first superhero with a black lead, and that was incredible. And obviously it got the nod for an Oscar for best film. I think a lot of it was down to the fact that it was such a big impact, on culture, and doesn't necessarily mean, because it's not the best Marvel film, at all. But maybe I think Marvel submitted it because they thought that obviously this is the right time to submit a film, because obviously it's the most culturally impactful film they've ever made. But on a filmmaking level, I wouldn't have thought it was the best Marvel film they've ever made. Yeah. So maybe it's a bit of that. Maybe they're just thinking we're just going to go in because we've got a good chance of winning because of maybe because of the situation, and obviously the messages that they were bringing to the forefront of the show. So I think if that for me, that would be the only way that it would win, because I'd like I said, I don't think it would really fit in a category with stuff like Bridgerton and The Crown, really. Yeah. But dramas aren't my forte, to be fair. They're not the kind of thing that I'd normally go for. You're not going to catch me watching Bridgerton or The Crown anytime soon. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not the one to go too much into that detail. I mean, what's your view on shows like that? Have you seen a lot of stuff like that?
Yeah. I love stuff like that. I'll admit I haven't seen The Crown, but Bridgerton, I watched it the day it came out in one day, and then I rewatched it, and then I rewatched it. So I love both aspects, both ends of the spectrum of entertainment. And I don't know, I feel usually there's a certain type of person who would watch Falcon Winter Soldier, and then another type of person who would watch Bridgerton. But I think there was obviously quite a few people who can appreciate both. And to be honest, Bridgerton to me did not touch on any of the issues that obviously Falcon Winter Soldier did. And to me, it's more of I don't know, I would have said it's more of it was more like a comedy thing, because it did feel like a more comedy thing. I know obviously there's a lot of comedic things in Falcon Winter Soldier, but for me, I do feel like Falcon Winter Soldier was more of a drama than Bridgerton, so I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, but that's just my opinion, obviously, because I do appreciate both of them. So yeah. And
what one thing you got to look at with that as well, when they announced obviously that these shows were going to get nominated, going to get pushed for Emmy considerations, it's quite telling with how they submitted them, because they could have also submitted Falcon Winter Soldier as a limited series, but they didn't do that either, which means that there's always a potential for there to be a season 2 of that, because a limited season is a limited season. You're not going to change that. There's never going to be a season 2 of WandaVision, because it was always a limited series. But Falcon Winter Soldier, because it's there was a best drama, could be possibly be a suggestion that a season 2 could come, which I don't know if that will happen, but obviously we've got Captain America 4 coming, which I assume that Bucky's going to be part of that. So I'm not sure why they would go back to doing a show on Disney Plus when they're going to give Sam his big push and put him in his own film. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But either way, it's very exciting. And although, like, I don't agree necessarily with the category Falcon Winter Soldier is in, I really hope that it wins. Yeah. And I hope. And if WandaVision doesn't win Best Limited Season, I'm going to riot. We're gonna kick off royally. That's what we're gonna do. Yeah.
I don't know what else is going to be in that category, but I think of all the stuff that I've watched, which, as I say, I've been on furlough, I've watched everything. So I've probably seen what it's up against. But yeah, so if it doesn't win, there's something amiss there. It definitely deserves to win.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed it will get Disney will get their first Emmy award, whatever. I don't know what it is. I don't even know where the Emmys are. I'm sure they're normally like summertime. Not sure.
No idea.
That's not very good research. They're not very well researched by myself there, but they'll be soon. I know. That's all I know. Well, it must be soon if they're putting the considerations out. So yeah, I reckon it's summertime. Yeah, they do loads of reward ceremonies in America in summer, don't they? They love it over there. Right. So let's shift on to another bit of news. So Russell Crowe has been cast in Thor: Love and Thunder, and he'll be playing Zeus. He broke the news on an Australian radio show where they asked him what he was doing, and he said he'd just been. I think his quote was, "I've just finished Zeusing around on Thor: Love and Thunder." So that pretty much confirms he's going to play Zeus. Which, very interesting. The reason why I think it's interesting is because Russell Crowe, for me, is he's a strange choice for casting for Marvel. Mainly because I think there's been a lot of like bad press with him over the last few years, and I know that Marvel tend to try and stay away from any sort of bad press. Obviously, we know exactly what happened with the whole James Gunn thing, so I'm very surprised that they've actually gone in the direction of going with Russell Crowe. I know that he had some sort of lawsuit going through with a artist, and for the life of me, cannot remember her name, but she did the song 212, which is an absolute banger.
Azealia Banks.
That's it, Azealia Banks. Yeah, I think there was some sort of court case going through, or she was trying to like file something against him with him being allegedly being. I have to put that by the way, so no one shouts at us. Allegedly, being massively inappropriate with her. Although she's quite outspoken anyway, and she's. I don't know why she'd lie about something like that, because she seems like just a down-to-earth person who just kind of doesn't give a flying F about anything. So I don't know why she'd lie, but I think that kind of has like passed now. But a lot of people I remembered that quite quickly as soon as I saw that it got cast. So that's why I was really confused about why they went in that direction. I mean, there's no denying he's a great actor. Like, he obviously is. He's a very talented guy, but I was just a bit confused about the casting for him. But to be fair, I don't know. It could be quite interesting having him in the MCU.
I've got to think though. A lot of people said this about RDJ when he first got cast, and everyone was like, thought it was really controversial and stuff. And obviously, we've grown to love him and stuff, haven't we?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think the situation's slightly bit different though, because obviously
it is, obviously.
Because obviously Marvel were I think they just come off the back of Blade coming out, and they'd actually made a bit of money and thought, right, we could kick on with this cinematic universe now, but we need to pay someone quite recognisable not a lot of money. So I think that's the big difference. Is obviously RDJ kind of took the job with obviously not getting paid a lot of money, because didn't Terrence Howard get paid more than him? Yeah, for that first film, which is.
That's insane.
Mad. Actually, why would you pay him?
There's going totally off topic here. I actually looked at the salaries for the first few films. They weren't getting paid a lot.
No.
Like Chris Hemsworth in the first Thor, I think was like £60,000, £80,000, and that's like that's odd.
Well, it's getting paid a lot more than I am anyway. So they can't be doing that much. They can't be doing that much wrong, really. Back in the day, but it's mad to think that they were getting paid that money, but. I see your point though. Obviously, like they're not maybe going to just turn their nose up on someone just because of like necessarily like a bad bit of press they've had over the while. Because I mean, there was loads of stuff happened with loads of stuff came out about Jeremy Renner, and they've kind of stuck behind that. I also know none of that's true, but
I feel like with Jeremy Renner, especially his social media platforms, though, I feel like he's doing a lot of damage control, because you know how he set up that social media platform himself and was charging people money to see his photos when he's a millionaire. There's absolutely no need. But now have you not noticed, he's like, out of the original 6, he's the most like active on social media.
Oh yeah, and I'm surprised he even gets away with all that stuff, because like he posts all the stuff like on set stuff all the time, and how does he get away with doing that? Like, surely Jeremy, stop, pal, please stop it now, please, because like we don't want people knowing all this information. He's just like, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
He also kind of, I don't know if it was like a spoiler, but when he finished filming, obviously we don't know where the Hawkeye series is going to go. When he finished filming, he kind of put a post on and said, "Finish filming, we'll be back soon." And I'm like, what is that for, Hawkeye season 2? Is that for a film you're going to be in? What's that about?
Yeah, it's pretty much just cemented himself in more projects by saying that, hasn't he, really? Which, well, fair enough. If he wants to do that, that's fine. But to be fair, like, when he's doing that, it's nowhere near as bad as like when Tom Holland's like spurting some like massive spoiler, or Ruffalo's telling everyone that everyone dies in Infinity War.
Or live screening Ragnarok.
Jeez. Oh yeah, Jesus Christ, what an absolute goon. Mark, we love you though. We love you, Mark, boy.
Oh, we do.
So like Russell Crowe. So like, what's your thoughts on Russell Crowe anyway? Like, do you think he's a good actor? Are you excited to see him in Thor?
I am actually. I do. Well, I've got a few things to say. So, as an actor, I think he'll be really good, because I don't know if have you seen a film called The Nice Guys with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe?
Oh, what? I possibly might have seen it.
It's like I think it's like set in the 70s or 80s, and it's like a buddy cop type movie.
Yeah, I think I have. I think I have seen it.
I think seeing him act and use that kind of humor, it's going to be perfect for like Taika's Thor.
Yeah.
So I think that he'll fit in really well. But what I am concerned about is I just feel like Thor is going to just, like, the film itself is going to just be jam-packed. There's so much going on, and I'm just wondering where on earth is Russell Crowe going to fit into what's already got Guardians. Like, Tessa Thompson's going to be in it, so are we going to see New Asgard? And then obviously Jeff Goldblum's rumored to be back in it, and then you've got Jane becoming like Mighty Thor, and just it's like so. And then obviously there's going to be like a little skit with like Matt Damon's back in it, and Melissa McCarthy's being cast as Hela, and it's like so much going on, and it's like, where does Russell Crowe fit into all this?
You know, if you look at the cast for that and who was going to be in that film, it is just like the most jam-packed thing you can ever want from just a solo. Apart from obviously Captain America: Civil War, obviously pretty much like an Avengers film, weren't it? Really, like you said, the names that are on on that list are just mind blowing. You've not even mentioned Christian Bale.
Oh, Christian Bale, sorry, as well.
Christian Bale as well. And it's like, what? This is mad. Like, how is this going to work? But I don't know. You got to trust Taika. And,
definitely. And
assuming that Taika probably had a big part on getting Russell Crowe involved in this as well. Obviously, they don't do a bad job at casting Marvel ever, do they? Really?
No.
So, like, I am being all skeptical about it, going like, I'm not sure if he's the right choice, but I'm going to sit in the theater, and as soon as I watch him, I'm like, of course. Why did I ever doubt them? But yeah, my main thing was just like the controversy that kind of comes with him. And that was my main worry. But I don't know. I think it could be okay. Just I think the way that Taika does things, it kind of makes people who shouldn't be funny be really funny.
Yeah.
I mean, people who are really funny, obviously just can like express themselves even more and be even more funny. But people you wouldn't really expect to be funny can be like really, really funny. Like, what's it called now? Oh, I can't remember his name. The guy who plays Scourge.
Carl Urban.
Yes, Carl Urban. Like, obviously he's a very, very good actor, and he's very, very enjoyable, and he's funny, but like, I think him playing Scourge is the funniest thing I've seen him in.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just thought that was a really, really genius bit of casting for him. And again, Taika just knows how to make everyone like 10 times better. Just like everyone's not around this level. When Taika gets involved, everyone's up here. Like, so far that my hand is not on the screen currently. But yeah, Russell Crowe could be good. I'm very excited to see Zeus coming to the MCU as well. So
yeah, because that makes room for like the Olympians and stuff, doesn't it? So we don't know if that's going to open up something for Phase 5. I am interested to see what he's going to do with that.
I can't imagine it being a big thing. Really, I can't imagine his role being huge because I mean,
No.
then it's another massive name on the books, which I know Marvel probably were very happy when RDJ decided to call time. Same with Chris Evans, because they were probably like, oh, Jesus Christ, these guys got some small fortune here. Can't we get more Tom Hollands who are going to cost us like £9? So, yeah, it'd be very exciting to go down that route and get some like more stories and more ideas like in the Phase 5. I'm not sure. Although saying that, like, they do have so much money, they could probably do anything.
Yeah, and of like
maybe.
There's so much being announced that it wouldn't surprise me, to be honest.
No, yeah, you can have the old Disney Plus show. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
loads of time, bags of time. So the next topic we're going to talk about is we'll save the big one, or like possibly the biggest one for the last one. So we'll go with Emilia Clarke and Olivia Colman being added to the cast of Secret Invasion. So Emilia Clarke, obviously, massive name for her work in Game of Thrones, and Olivia Colman, obviously, people are going to know her from The Crown mostly, aren't they? But she's always going to be I can't remember her name in the show now, but she's always going to be remembered for me of Peep Show, because I love Peep Show and she's amazing in Peep Show. So that's how I'm gonna always going to remember him. But so Emilia Clarke, I'll just start with her. Huge name.
Yeah.
Being added to Secret Invasion. No Secret Invasion is going to be like a big deal for Phase 4, with the implications. Obviously, are the Skrulls going to be bad guys? Are they not? Well, what? But that, for the time being, you're thinking how are the Skrulls going to be bad guys when Captain Marvel pretty much set them up as being like the downtrodden race in the universe, but something must really go wrong for this to kind of blow up in everyone's face. And I'm very excited to have Emilia Clarke in the MCU, because although I don't like Game of Thrones, which I know a lot of people probably like stop listening or watching right now, but I watched 3 episodes, thought it was shit.
Wow.
And I don't want to watch it, but I do think she's a really good actress, and I'm excited for another big name like her to come in and show what she can do and what she can bring to the table. What are your thoughts on Emilia joining? I mean, due to your reaction, I'm pretty sure you're a big Game of Thrones fan.
Oh yeah, like I absolutely love Game of Thrones, and if I'm honest, I even love Emilia's ending. So she acted it so perfectly well. I think she showed a massive range doing what she did. I won't give any spoilers just in case you decide to watch it 10 years later.
I'm not, don't worry. It's not happening.
Yeah, but she showed that she can play like pure good innocent, and she can play evil crazy. So I think she's definitely a fantastic actress, and I absolutely love her. My only concern is that I feel like these studios kind of pick her up because of her name rather than because she's right for the role. Like when she was in the Solo film. Like I don't know. I don't know much about Secret Invasion. Obviously, there's not a lot of stuff out there at the minute about it and what's going to happen and who the characters are and everything. As you say, we don't know what's happened with the Skrulls, what's gone on there. So I don't know in what capacity Emilia is going to be in it. I would love to see her play a villain again, because I think she could do that really well. But I don't know. She's a sweetheart, isn't she? So I think she got it. So I'd like to see her play that kind of role as well. So and Olivia Colman, I've only really seen her in a few episodes of The Crown, and I've seen her in The Night Manager. Yeah. But I haven't seen her in anything else. But obviously she's a fantastic actress. So
all the time in the world for Olivia. She's I think her range is like I can't think of anyone who's got like the same range of acting that she has, to go from like, have you watched Peep Show? Have you ever seen Peep Show? It is ridiculous. It's an amazing comedy, and it's probably one of my favorite comedies of all time. Like one of the best British comedies you're ever going to see. And to see her play a character in that, and to go to play like a character in The Crown, and they're just like polar opposites, but she just a range. It's incredible, and I think I can imagine she's going to be playing like an absolute like badass role.
Yeah.
Olivia Colman. Some strange reason, I can imagine her being a bad guy. Amelia Clark not being. I can imagine them going the opposite way. I think that Olivia Colman could end up being like a big baddie of some sort. But I don't know who though, because obviously we've already got like a Madam like Hydra or like Devon Tane, what she's called, Val from Winter Soldier. We've got like the Sam Jackson like female equivalent. So I'm not sure where they'd go in that, and I don't know, but I'm excited to see what she can bring to the table. Again, especially another huge name that's already full of big names. Or we think about who's going to be in Secret Invasion. You've already got Sam Jackson in there, Ben Mendelsohn, and probably like a lot of superheroes as well. Really, I can't imagine they're going to not include the likes of Captain Marvel in this at all. And yeah, I think it's going to be insane. I think that might be the next time we might see Photon as well, because I don't think Miss Marvel comes out. Not Miss Marvel, the Captain Marvel 2 of the Marvels. I don't think that comes out until a bit later. Actually, I think that comes out after.
Comes out November 11th, 2023.
2023. I think they're supposed to start filming.
2022. Sorry.
That's a very long time ago. So I know that they're supposed to be starting filming at the end of this year for Secret Invasion. So I can imagine it comes out before that. I think November 12th. Yeah, I think it will do. Yeah, so I think that's the next time we'll see Photon as well, which we're very exciting to have her back as well, won't it? So yeah, two big names. Very excited to have them join the MCU. So what we'll do now is we'll finish off our big MCU news for this month by talking about the Phase 4 film trailer that dropped like a week and a half ago now, 2 weeks ago. Totally didn't realise that this was like a thing that they were showcasing loads of like new films. I think I watched the first few minutes and was like, oh, they're just excited that people are going back to the films. And then a lot of people posted about stuff about the Eternals. I was like, what? Like, I only watched like a minute of that, and then I had to go back and rewatch it all. And I was like, that's why everyone's losing their mind about it. There's me like going, they're just talking about going back to the cinemas. Oh, that's min. I'm excited to go watch the films again. I thought it was more of a thing like, don't worry, Black Widow's coming out in the cinema. Don't worry, you can go watch it. I was thinking, but then loads of mad shit happened. Like, we get our first look at the Eternals. We get release dates for like the rest of the Phase 4 films, and wow, that's a huge announcement that almost completely passed me by. So that would have been really bad. So but we didn't even talk about the Shang-Chi trailer as well, because we might as well talk about that as well as part of this. So what would you say is the most exciting thing about that announcement for you?
I mean, if we can just talk about the trailer itself for a second. Oh my god,
go for it.
The emotion, I was crying my eyes. Hearing Stanley's voice and then seeing all the clips from the old stuff. Oh god. And actually, because I rewatched it today in preparation for this, I didn't realise that Tony's snap is halfway through the trailer and then it rolls the credits a little bit and then it moves into the new stuff, and I was like, this is fantastic. So obviously we saw the Black Widow trailer snippet, which I'm so excited for. I can't wait, because I love Scarlett Johansson like with my whole heart, and I love Black Widow. I can't wait to see that film. It's been put off for so long now. I just need it to happen. Then obviously we saw the Shang-Chi trailer. I can't wait for that. I don't know much. I think out of all the new stuff that's coming out, I think Shang-Chi, in terms of the comics and stuff, is the person I know least about. So I feel like I don't want to know anything more. I want to go into that with like a fresh, like, the viewing experience. Obviously then we saw Eternals, which is just the cast. Like, if Eternals it's mind blowing anyway. And then obviously, did we see snippets of them for three things, and then we just saw the dates for the rest.
Yeah, that's right.
And it just kept coming and coming and coming. I was like, oh no, and I kept having to rewind it to get the dates, and just wow. Insanity.
What's your thoughts on the names of some of the films? So we've got Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. and the Marvels, which is Captain Marvel 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was kind of, I don't know, that's kind of on the cards. I wouldn't have thought that they've changed that because it kind of just fits like the way that Gunn wants to like put them films in his collection. But the Marvels obviously is a very telling title. And Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is so now I was under the impression that Ryan Coogler was making a Disney Plus show about Wakanda and about its history and about like the culture, and just like more of like a show about like not necessarily like a lead character, but about Wakanda in general. But I think it seems like they're going to be making that as Black Panther 2 instead. So just concentrating on Wakanda as a country and the people within it. So not necessarily tying it down to Black Panther, but obviously it is a Black Panther film because it's going to be set in Wakanda, and we already knew that we were getting a Black Panther 2. And there might be a mantle passing of some sort at some point during the film. Yeah. But I think the main focus clearly is the fact that it's going to be a Wakandan story more than a Black Panther story. So how do you feel about that? Are you excited about going back to Wakanda and digging more into?
I think the title's a bit telling itself, because I feel like it's kind of saying to the Marvel fans that, yes, obviously Chadwick Boseman's no longer with us, he can't play Black Panther anymore, but we are going to carry on with that legacy. We are like, to me anyway, this might just be me totally looking into it too much, but like it's kind of like Wakanda will go on, this kind of thing for me. That's what the title suggests to me anyway. But it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen to Wakanda after obviously, like you said, the mantle passes. So but I mean, as we touched on earlier, the Black Panther film isn't the best out of the MCU movies, but I'm still excited for the next one, and I'm really fingers crossed that like Shuri's going to be in it a lot more, because I absolutely adore her. So I'm excited for that.
Well, I think the main talking point is about Shuri being passed the mantle of Black Panther, which I think if you ask most MCU fans, they'd be like, let's have her take the mantle. There's like a few people saying that maybe it should be we should get thingy back.
Killmonger.
That's it. Yeah, get Killmonger. Because I mean, but I don't know. Like, I think that'd be a bit of a cop out.
Yeah, I don't like this whole.
Sorry, you're just like knocking down like another strong female lead in having Shuri take on the mantle. Which, why not? Because she's clearly one of the best characters that Black Panther introduced. I mean, you've got loads of really, really interesting people from Wakanda, but none of them kind of are on the same level as Shuri. And the fact that she offers more than just being like a comedic character. She's obviously one of the most talented people and most intelligent people in the MCU. So why not have like essentially a Wakandan version of Tony Stark? Because that's what she is. She's incredible.
Yeah, that's a perfect analogy, actually. Yeah, definitely.
What were you going to say, by the way?
Oh, I was going to say, I just feel like if they kind of bring back Killmonger, it dilutes the impact of characters dying.
Oh yeah, well we know that Marvel have to do that anyway.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like Loki's different because he's just, that's who he is. But I feel like if they're going to bring back humans, like non-magic humans, if they're going to bring them back for no reason other than plot, I just think it's just, like I said, just dilutes the impact of them going in the first place. So I don't want them to keep bringing back dead characters, if I'm honest.
No, because like you said, it just takes the shine off everything. Like, no one's ever really dead. Well,
yeah.
Then anything could happen at any time ever, and then like that's just, the possibilities are far too endless. Like, because anything could happen, and like you could have like Obadiah Stane coming back and just being like, all right, remember me from the first one? Yeah, I'm back now. Here I am. Like, no, you're supposed to stay dead. Get out of here, Jeff. You shit beard. One thing I didn't actually talk about is we'll talk about the Captain Marvel 2 in a second, but I saw something actually today online. I'm not sure if you spotted this, or not sure if it's been brought to attention, but Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been a lot of stuff online like coming out, and like Evangeline Lilly started training for it. again for the filming of it. I think they said the filming's supposed to start in a few weeks' time. But Darren, the guy who plays Darren Cross, had been hashtagged in the film. I think it's called Corey or something. I can't remember his name for the life of me now. But he'd been hashtagged in a post by on like something about Quantum Mania, like can't wait to get started. And so they mentioned him. So I think we might actually be seeing the return of Darren Cross.
I haven't seen it, but
no. Well, I don't know if it was on Evangelina Lynn's Instagram account. So I mean, I don't know if that's like a oversight on her for posting that, because I mean, surely that's quite a big spoiler.
Yeah,
if
maybe
Darren Cross is going to be coming back, because that's probably where he has been in the quantum realm this whole time, and he could easily just come back out and be like, "Here I am again." Remember from the first Ant-Man film? You'd be like, Darren, you're such a generic villain. We don't want you back.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. If they're going to bring back characters, it definitely shouldn't be someone like Darren Cross, to be fair.
No. If you're going to bring back Darren Cross, why are you not bringing back Justin Hammer? Justin Hammer should be in every single film and TV show, because he's the best, one of the best villains ever. Okay. I do think he's going to be back for the Armor Wars. I think he's going to come back for Armor Wars, 100%, which would be very exciting if he does. That will make my day if he comes back. I love Justin Hammer. But less about Justin Hammer. Let's talk about Captain Marvel 2. Yeah. Captain Marvel 2. So, the Marvels, Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel, in one film together. Boom. That sounds like it's going to be a good film. What do you think?
It's one of those films where I'm worried for it because of the backlash, the backlash from the previous film. I'm worried for it because I just think, if there's one thing wrong with it, people are going to jump on it and it's going to really upset me, because I love Brie Larson so much. So I'm excited for it. I personally really like the first Captain Marvel film. I think it's really good. I think Brie Larson's perfect casting. I don't see the problem that people have. So if it's a continuation of that, I'm happy. But what I'm concerned about is if Marvel or Disney have kind of listened to the fans and they're going to change the direction of the character. I don't know. I don't know. But either way, I'm excited for it. And obviously, as a woman myself, I'm always happy to see female characters on the screen. So
hell yeah! I mean, we've had some amazing female leads recently, not just in the MCU, just in general. So many good TV shows and films. So let's get more. That's incredible stuff. And I completely agree with you with Brie Larson hate. I don't get it.
No.
What is the actual problem, man? Your big complaint is the fact that she was too wooden in the show. Well, I'm pretty sure during certain points of the film, she's been told that she's supposed to compress her emotions, because that's how she can't control herself and she can't fight as good, because she's not controlling her emotions. Pretty sure that's in the first 5 minutes of the film. So people clearly aren't paying attention to it, are they really?
No.
It grinds my gears. Really grinds my gears. Just actually pay attention to what's going on in the film, you dummies. I'm only kidding. We don't want to offend people, but obviously we're entitled to our opinions. And if your opinion that Brie is rubbish, then you're rubbish. Because how much of a badass have to be when you can do pull-ups on a bar with a chain wrapped around you, your Instagram profile? My lord.
It's
insane.
I think the problem is because I think it was the same kind of thing I feel like with Kristen Stewart, where I think these actors are introverts, and because they're not fun, outgoing, bubbly people when they're on chat shows and stuff, everyone's think they're a bit stuck up or something. But I think it's just genuinely because they feel a bit awkward, and that's just it. But yeah, I mean, obviously I know Brie Larson, she's got a gaming channel on YouTube and I watch it all the time. She's so active on social media. She just seems like such a nice person. I hate the hate she gets, because it really just, I don't get it, because I love her and I think she's a fantastic actress and she just seems like a really nice person. So I don't get it, but I'm happy to see her as back as Captain Marvel anyway. So I'm excited to see what she's going to bring.
Yeah, these people forget that she's an Oscar woman actress. So. Anyway, never mind. Balls to them people. Right, what we'll do now, we'll take a quick break where we can hear from some other shows on the TTY network, and then we'll come back and talk a bit about the god of mischief, Loki himself, with Disney Plus show starting in June. Cool. So we'll see you in 2.
So, Scott, as you may be aware, there's a bit of a lockdown on.
Yes, I had heard that.
Lots of people have suddenly got a lot of time on their hands and a smorgasbord of content to choose from to fill that time. How can people find the best nerdy content when there's so much out there?
It's difficult, but don't worry.
Hello there and welcome back to the MCU podcast. I am, of course, joined here by Marie Boyle, and we are about to do our preview of Loki. The Disney Show Plus starting June 9th, got moved from June 11th to June 9th on Disney Plus. Wednesday nights with Loki. Man, I think that's probably the best. That's the best bit of like programming shifting they could have possibly done for this for me, to be fair. Because nothing wrong, nothing against with the Friday night shows. Obviously, since we had The Mandalorian from the very beginning, and like having Falcon Winter Soldier, it's been fantastic having these shows on a Friday night. You make a big deal out of it, you have a bit of takeaway, have a couple of drinks, watch your show, and then Friday night, just especially with everything opening back up in the world again, I think it's a good move to kind of shift it to a night that they know that they're going to get more eyes on it. Because, like, when the first season of Mandalorian, like, what year was it? 2 years ago now?
Yeah, it was 2019, wasn't it?
So was it just the start of the pandemic?
I think it was December.
Just before the pandemic, weren't it?
Yeah, it was like December 2019, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah. So that was obviously. That's fair enough, because obviously that was a huge deal. Mandalorian was obviously the first live action Star Wars show, so it's always going to be big, and people are always going to be staying in and watching it, and like not really caring about doing anything else on a Friday night because it's such a big event. And I feel like that was the same for season 2. But then obviously we got season 2, WandaVision, and like half Falcon Winter Soldier during like this pandemic. So I don't think it's mattered too much. But they've shifted it to a Wednesday night, which obviously doesn't conflict with people doing other things. But I think also Bad Batch I think the Bad Batch has started, hasn't it? That other Star Wars show. So I don't think they wanted to, because that's going to be running at the same time, and I don't think they like to take like the spotlight away from other shows, especially ones that are quite big hitters. Like Bad Batch is obviously one of the big ones for Star Wars as well. So I think that's probably one of the main reasons why they switched it around a bit. Plus, I mean, it gets more people talking on more days about these shows as well, because obviously every single time a new episode of one of these shows comes out, like the internet explodes for like a day. So if you've got a show that's coming out on a Wednesday exploding, and then a show coming out on a Friday exploding, then it's perfect. And like you've got other shows that are coming out on Disney Plus, like the Monsters Inc. show, like that Monsters at Work, that's coming out in like next month as well. So I mean, if they're doing this thing where they've got a big show coming out every single night, or every single day, I imagine everyone's just going to be talking about Disney Plus forever, aren't they? Really? So maybe that's
Disney stocks.
Yeah, just like everyone's like, just buy everything. So it makes a lot of sense for them to move it. But on a personal level, I think that's perfect though, because like it's a good day to have it break up the week with a Disney show. Oh God, I'm very excited. I'm so excited. So how many weeks away now? So it's the 9th.
3.
So
like
3 weeks away, 2.5. And also, obviously, a big thing. Obviously, I really don't think that Disney really took this into consideration that much. But obviously, with the Euros starting on the 11th of June, which is obviously a big thing for football fans as well. So you don't really want to take the. I know that they don't release a lot of big films during that time as well, because they know that they don't do as well in the UK when big football tournaments run, because a lot of people are sat in pubs watching football. I know that's not a huge thing to go off, but personally, I'm very glad they've done that, because there's a lot of good Friday football games. So thanks, Marvel. So less about football though, more about Loki, the God of Mischief. So 6 episodes. From what I believe, they're going to be like an hour long. Following Loki in his time so it'll be 2012 Loki, so the one that took the Tesseract from Endgame, zipped his way into a different timeline, and now going to cause all kinds of chaos, I think.
Yeah.
The trailers for these, every single bit of trailer, every single bit of like media that they've released for this is just getting me so more and more excited every single time I see it. I'm just like, oh God, it's going to be so good. And I've said this multiple times on these podcasts that this show is going to be the best one.
Yeah.
I think, hands down. Like, I love Loki. And I've always enjoyed Loki. He's not been like one of my favourite characters, but I think what they can do with Loki and like just Tom Hiddleston as an actor, he's just fantastic. He's got so much charisma, and I think it's impossible to hate Tom Hiddleston. I don't know how anyone could hate him. And Loki, the character, possibly the second best villain the MCU's ever had. Yeah,
definitely. Like,
I was going to say, what's your initial thoughts on Loki?
I actually read somebody else's thought. They hit the nail on the head earlier, and it basically said something along the lines of Tom Hiddleston is like, he demands so much attention as Loki that he doesn't fit as a side character. So even since the first Thor film, he's deserved his own series or movie or whatever you want to give him. And yeah, I can't wait to see what he gets up to. I'm a little bit sad that we're not getting kind of like Ragnarok Loki with the development and the suddenly like finally becoming a hero. So I'm a little bit sad about that, but we all love Mischief Loki though, don't we? So I can't wait to see what he gets up to. So not too sad about it, but and like Tom Hiddleston's amazing, and I always think you can tell that when an actor loves the role. And with Tom Hiddleston, you just can tell he loves Loki. You can tell he loves playing him, and I think that really shows in his performance. So, and it's like you see all the press stuff. Like you can tell that you can see he's enjoying all the press stuff. Like, did you see the Entertainment Weekly takeover he did? He's not even dressed as Loki, and he's just dressed in his normal Tom Hiddleston clothes, like an English gentleman. And he's just being Loki, and it's just, I don't know. It's going to be amazing. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't show. It doesn't seem like you're going to be that excited. Your emotions aren't being shown in that aspect. So like what this along with obviously Tom Hiddleston, like the cast is absolutely stacked as well. Like Sophia Di Martino, Richard E. Grant. Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, I mean,
it's gonna be a case of who hasn't been in Marvel, isn't it?
I know. But it's like, I think for this show though, I think it might be a case of who's gonna like outshine who, because obviously Tom Hiddleston's fantastic, but like you putting Owen Wilson in a show like this, I don't know how he's not going to be like the Jimmy Woo of this show.
Yeah.
How is he not going to be like? I agree, It looks like he's like everything. All the stuff you've seen him. I've seen Owen Wilson being so far in this. I've been like, I think I'm going to love Morbius. Me, I think he's going to be the best thing about this show, which could be difficult to take in when obviously Loki's in it. But I think he's going to be a massive draw for this show for me. Owen Wilson, because I mean, it's an absolute goon, really, and he's not. I don't think he's like an incredible actor or anything like that. I mean, he's had some really good roles in certain films. I mean, he's always going to be the guy in Wedding Crashers to me, and so like he's going from that to being like this TVA agent in Loki. It's going to be a completely different thing. But I'm so excited to see him and what he can bring to the table. And then Richard E. Grant is just like a top tier actor, and just what is this show going to be about? What are your initial like feelings about the show? Are we thinking it's going to be like a serious show? Is it going to be like comedic? Is it going to be like just like a typical like Marvel action comedy, bit of drama, bit of sadness, like just like the whole package, like they do with all the films?
I think they're going to. This is just me delving right into it. I think they're going to try and use characters like Owen Wilson, like you say, being a TV agent. I think they're going to try and ground it into it being serious, and it's going to be trying to pull it down. But I do feel like it's just going to be so whimsical. Because like you said earlier, they can do anything with Loki, can't they? They can even have him like shapeshift into other characters and stuff. So anything can happen with Loki. And I think Tom Hiddleston even said himself that even like the lettering on the Loki logo is just showing you all the different like, well, what did he? I can't remember where he used, but all the different like characters that he can play, and all the different levels to him and everything. And I don't know, I do think they're going to try and make it serious, but I just think it's going to just get the better of itself and just become really whimsical and full of magic and mayhem. And I don't know, that kind of, it's going to just have that kind of feel about it. I feel like it's going to have a very, not Ragnarok in the terms of the comedy, but Ragnarok in terms of like the absurdity of it all. I feel like that's what it's going to be like. I feel like it's going to be an absurd series. That's like the perfect way of putting it. It's going to be like, what is this? So in that way, I feel like it's going to be a perfect blend of the earlier episodes of WandaVision and then obviously the seriousness of Falcon Winter Soldier. But I do feel like they've saved the best for last with these three that they've announced. Yeah.
So I think from what people have shown online, and like a lot of theorists have like predicted like what I think the show's gonna be about, like a lot of it seems to revolve a lot around like conspiracy theories and things that have happened that haven't ever been really explained. Like you've got him turning up at Pompeii when the volcano erupts.
Yeah.
There's the DB Cooper jumping out of the plane with the suitcase full of money. And then there's something to do with like a computer game that like the US government made that's supposed to like never technically ever existed, but it did do. So I think this is one of the things that I predicted quite early on with this show, that I kind of thought it was going to be like a quantum leap show. Do you remember Quantum Leap when you were younger?
Yeah.
Kind of like basically you go back in time and you end up in like certain parts of time. You've got to make sure that it unfolds the way it unfolds. So I think that's what my prediction was. And although I'm not right, because it's not that we're doing that, but they're obviously putting Loki in certain situations and certain events in time and kind of almost being like, well, he's the reason why this happened. So that they're trying to explain all this mad stuff, like all these conspiracy theories, and be like, they've blamed everything on Loki. And that's the reason why it all happened, because Loki had to do this, which I find that an absolutely fantastic idea. I was going to go a bit more rogue with the stuff like he had to make, like, you know, like maybe like stuff like the assassination of JFK and stuff like that. He might be there at that point, and like he maybe has to try and prevent something like that from happening, so that, like the timeline doesn't break, something like that. But obviously, that's not what they're going with. But I love the idea of putting Loki in different situations, but him still being Loki and having to like, and then making it that an explanation of why this has happened, because Loki is the guy behind it all. And I think it's such a clever idea. And it's obviously going to be due to the fact that he's obviously messed up the timeline by surviving and taking the Tesseract and being in the timeline when anybody shouldn't be, because I think during like the trailers you see the screens, the really old screens of like them branch offshoots.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about the way that the timeline works in the MCU, like the Ancient One describes in Endgame, like she's clearly just explained how that works, and I think that's what's happening. So all these offshoots of Loki are happening because he managed to survive, and I think the whole plot line is he's gonna have to try and get the timeline back in order by stopping certain things from happening. A lot of people are saying that Sophia Di Martino's character is going to be Lady Loki in the show. There's like obviously the female version of Loki, where she's going to be causing all kinds of chaos, and the TVA, along with Loki, I have to try and bring her in. So I think that sounds like a really interesting idea. Like, have you got any like predictions of what you think might happen in the show, or what you'd like to happen?
I think honestly that making predictions is just, it's a futile endeavor, because I just feel like anything can happen. Like, I really just feel like they can do whatever they want. They can place them in any scenario, any time, with any characters, any real life characters. Like you said, all the conspiracy theories and stuff. I honestly just don't know. I have no idea. And to be honest, I know we've seen a lot from the trailer, but it doesn't give anything away at all.
No.
It's all it's done is set a plot, and that's it. And it's just where they're going to go with that. like I'm just really excited to see.
Yeah. Have you got any thoughts of what you'd like to see? Like, have you got any characters that you think might show up? I mean, we know that they love putting cameos in these shows. Have you got any predictions of who you think might show up?
I don't know, because it's just, with it being, I don't know if Doctor Strange might show up. I know he was rumoured to be in like WandaVision every week, but I feel like we've moved into, I heard someone say that Phase 4 is for magic.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, and I think like someone would have to not be, you're not going to get your likes of Sam or Bucky or anyone like that. But I do feel like maybe I feel like Doctor Strange, because he's supposed to keep an eye on things on Earth, he might crop up and assist with something. But yeah, you just you never know. Like, that's what I love about it. You just never know who's going to be in it. You just don't know what cameos they're going to do. I mean, no one knows how everything's going to go. I didn't know how WandaVision was going to end, and even the penultimate episode of WandaVision, I didn't know what was going to happen in the next one. So I think that's the fun of it. You get to guess every episode what's going to happen next, and there wasn't much of that with Falcon Winter Soldier, but with Loki, I think it's going to be kind of like a guessing game again, where it's going to be all these theories and everyone's discussing it every week. And yeah.
What was your thought on the WandaVision? Were you on the Mephisto hype or not?
Oh, no, I wasn't, because I'm not a huge comic book fan. And then when I was reading, such and such as Mephisto, I was like, does it matter? I was like, just shut up. And although I'm all for sitting for like 2 hours after each one and discussing all my theories with different people, I'm also just like, just watch it and enjoy it and stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen. Just yeah, just like
what a reference.
Yeah. So yeah.
Gosh, brilliant.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. I personally think that if we don't get either Doom or Kang in this show, that it would be a waste, really, because we know the Fantastic Four are coming. So,
can I interrupt you here? Can I make a confession? This is me being dumb, really dumb. You know the Phase 4 logo?
Yeah.
I thought that was them announcing Fantastic Four, and I thought that was a logo for it when I first saw it.
What, the end?
Yeah, like the Phase 4 logo at the end of the trailer.
Yeah.
I thought that was like...
It's Fantastic Four.
Oh, is it? I just thought it was Phase 4.
No, it's for the Fantastic Four. It's obviously saying that's coming soon as well.
So I had that thought, and then I checked myself, and thought I was wrong, but actually I was right in the first place.
No, you were right in the first place. Yeah, because they announced it.
Embarrassment.
They announced Fantastic Four a while ago, didn't they? Officially that it was coming out. So it's just a Fantastic Four logo as well.
Oh, well, see, I thought it was the Phase 4 logo, because I thought it was after I saw that Emily Blunt had said, I'm not going to be in it, no one's asking me to be in it. I thought, well, maybe they haven't done the Fantastic Four thing yet. So I thought maybe it's just the Phase 4 logo.
No, it has been announced. We are getting Fantastic Four, and maybe Emily Blunt is just being coy about the whole thing.
Yeah. Although, they haven't rang me.
I don't. She wouldn't be in my casting anyway for the Fantastic Four, but I've already done my casting for the Fantastic Four on a previous episode. So I'm not going to touch on that right now because there's no point. Go back and listen to whatever episode it was. Episode 7. Episode 7 it was. I did my fan prediction of who we wanted to be in Fantastic Four. So go back and listen to that episode. Very good. What was I going to say now, though? My train of thought has gone. So Doom or Kang. Because obviously this is going to be revolved around timelines and time variants and like different versions of Loki and all that kind of stuff. Like, I think it'd be a good way to introduce Kang before he comes in Quantum Mania. Because I mean, if he's not going to turn up in this or in Doctor Strange 2, then I don't know. I think it'd be. Like the Marvel are really good at planting seeds really early with stuff like this.
I was just going to say they're good
like with Thanos. Yeah. So I feel like there needs to be some like little snippets of stuff, little sprinkles of Kang or Doom before we see them be introduced in the full forms in either Fantastic Four with Doom, or Kang in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So I feel like this is the perfect kind of show though to kind of plant that seed. And I don't know, I just think that'd be really cool if we did that. And again, it followed the theme of big people being in it, because like we don't know who Richard E. Grant's will be playing yet, but imagine if Richard E. Grant turns out to be Doctor Doom, because that's a good name. It's a big name person to be Doom. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, he'd play him really well. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Well, that's my thing. So in relation to like where do you think this fits in the MCU and in Phase 4, like we've obviously we're both very excited about it, but do we think this is going to like live up to the hype of the other shows? And can you envision it being the best one? Is what I'm asking of you, really.
I think definitely. I think it'll live up to the hype, and obviously like Loki's like a huge fan favorite, isn't he? If he's in it, it's going to be good, basically. Because I think people will just like watching the content that they put Tom Hiddleston in no matter what he does. So, but in terms of where it fits in the MCU, I don't know what the plan is after this. Obviously, it's going to be a wait and see kind of thing, but it's going to be what we're going to do at the end of this 6-part series. What we're going to do with this Loki, and I'm worried about that.
Yeah. Well, I did read somewhere that that it had been commissioned for a season 2. But it's not been confirmed. But I did read that they'd already commissioned a season 2 before they'd even started filming the season 1. So I'm not entirely sure how accurate that is. But this, out of all the shows, this is the one that I can imagine they would do more seasons of. Yeah, because you like you said, you can do literally anything with Loki.
Yeah,
and he could be the Loki from 2012, just essentially just catching up to the point where obviously he leaves us in 2017, 2017. Sorry, in Infinity War. So I think that's. I could imagine more. I could imagine more Loki going forward, but. Do you think he's going to tie back into the current timeline, or is he going to reunite with Thor? I mean, he did say that sun was shining on him again, didn't he?
I really hope so. Because the thought of Thor being without Loki, and just like, I know obviously Thor's gone through the grieving process of losing Loki so many times, but I do think like it's just such a shame to lose your brother, isn't it? And just obviously. But I love them as brothers, and I want them to be together and stuff. But it's odd because I'm really selfish, and I want Loki to be in the new Thor film and stuff. I don't know, but I'm happy for the Loki content as it is. I would love to see Empirical Thor again, maybe in another sequel down the line. I want this to be like Loki's thing. I don't want like a big name to come and take this away from Tom Hiddleston, because that guy's put 10 years of work in to get this series, so I feel like he really deserves it. So I don't want like a Chris Hemsworth to come in and take like the shine away from Tom Hiddleston, but I would like to see in the future, maybe Phase 5, or maybe in a future, in like, I don't know, further down the line in Phase 4 when more stuff gets announced. I'd like to see them back together again.
Yeah, I think most people would. I mean, why would you not want the banter between them two? And they can do Get Help, which we all want to see again. We all want to see Get Help.
It's only based on the Loki somehow working his way into becoming a hero again, though, because I love hero Loki. So
that is top tier Loki, to be fair. Absolutely. Like the obviously you knew that something mad was going to happen at the start of Infinity War, but
oh god, and like
that hit me hard.
The other times he's died, it's kind like the other times he's died, you've got to see him die, but like with that one, you saw it, and it was just like, oh no, he's not coming back from this. There's no trickery going on here. There's no mischief. The guy's dead, and it was awful.
Yeah, that was not good to watch. Poor Loki. Poor Loki's neck just could not handle Thanos' strength. So that's I don't really think there's that much we can really go into really more with Loki. Apart from the fact that we're well excited about it. So
yeah,
I think the best thing we can do is just be really excited about it and leave it there for this episode.
Yeah.
What I will be doing is I'll be hosting obviously a live stream after every episode on Wednesday with a guest to be confirmed. I'm working on some people. I'd like to get a continuous person to join me. It might end up being Michael, the Avenged Nerd, anyway, because we always like a good chat, me and Michael. So it could end up being him. He's a favourite of the podcast, obviously. But that's it, really. That is our show. Thank you very much, Marie, for joining me. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, and it's been great. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks
what
for
I'm going to do
having
now, I'm going to give you an opportunity now to give yourself a little plug and tell the folk where they can find you on the socials and more about your store. And the floor is yours.
Wow, this is the part I'm going to struggle with, like asking about Marvel answer, but okay, so I have a small art business. I do have one Marvel print on there. It's called Peppermint Notes, and that's on Etsy and TikTok and Instagram. So that's at Peppermint Notes, all one word. And then I have a photography page called at Marie's Notes. Give that a follow. But then my Marvel stuff is on it's at Marie Solo 89. It's not just Marvel stuff, it's like Star Wars and other stuff that I haven't posted yet, Harry Potter and stuff like that. And I also have a YouTube channel which is also called Marie's Notes. I think, oh my god, I can't remember the name. That's so embarrassing. But yeah, I think that's called Marie's Notes as well. Yeah, that's all I've got to plug, really. I don't.
No worries.
Yeah.
Well, all these will be in the podcast description below wherever you get your podcast from. So you'll be able to find Marie on the social media formats or platforms. You'll be able to follow her. Give her a follow because her stuff is really interesting and she's really cool. But that's everything from us. I'll do my plug now. Make sure you follow the MCU Guy on all of your social media platforms. So that's at the MCU Guy on everything apart from Twitter, because Twitter is the MCU Guy UK, because Twitter will not let me have my old account back because they're buggers. You could also so Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all the MCU Guy, YouTube, the MCU Guy. You can get one of these lovely T-shirts. This one's the Korg one. Says "Piss Off Ghost" on my Etsy page. All these are in the link in the description. Make sure you like the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, tell your friends, and if you can do a review on whatever platform you use, please leave us a review because it helps get me up the algorithm so more people can hear the show, which is what it's all about, really. We want more people to join in and get involved in the show. So it's a thank you from me. Thank you and goodbye from Marie. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
This podcast is part of the That Thing You Might Like network. Here's something you might like. Find us on socials at TTYL Network.